I can't even get near the camera. Can't even get near the camera. I'm so buried in stuff. Oh my gosh, my parts drawers are a mess. Oh. What the heck is going on here? Everything's a mess. Man, I just had, this is madness in my studio. So, welcome to another episode, my friends, of Journal Entry. I'm exhausted. It is Father's Day as of the time recording this. Actually, it's no longer Father's Day because it's now past midnight. So, belated Father's Day to everybody. Hope you had an amazing weekend, all the dads out there. So, hey, but, this weekend was one of the it just gets you so full of energy in the Lego universe. You see all of the amazing designers. I mean, I'm just kind of like a Padawan in the mock building universe. I'm just kind of getting started. Star Wars is hard, it's easy in a way to do mocks, but then it's also difficult because sometimes your ideas get so big. When I could just do unique things. I should really concentrate on doing fun things that I like, and I'm really excited. For the first time, I was able to put a mock out in the universe and show it off, and it's really weird having people like stop by, and it's cool. It's cool having people stop by and talk Star Wars with you. That is really fun, and kind of to give the concept, and then they're like, oh yeah, so it doesn't necessarily, it didn't make sense like immediately, but once you start talking about it, people are like, oh wow, that actually makes a lot of sense. Because one of mine was kind of a made up scenario where the Mandalorians are now under Mos Eisley, there isn't a Mos Eisley, so it's kind of like future. So I had to kind of like prep people in the future when you have to tell the story that it's probably not a great idea. But then the second one, people were like, wow, the future is cool. They really want to see the castle. I'd love to just immediately build the castle. I'm just such a slow builder. But the cool part about the Darth Vader's castle mock that is kind of in the early stages is that it has, as I find dog hair in my brick, is that I did experiment with some of the lighting and the potential. People are like, wow, there's a lot of potential there. Because the lava at night and even some of the things, like just how I had it set up, it looked really cool in spots. I would need to have more of it. And it's very manual, so I would almost need one of those like lighting controllers and all that kind of stuff. This is next level type stuff that kind of has me worried. I could see the cost of it, just the lighting alone being a couple $100. And do I want to go down that path? I don't know if I'm quite ready for that. So we'll see what I'm able to do as I go into next year. Like, do I keep the mocks as is? The other issue is that people can only see from like maybe like 120 degrees of view. You don't have like full side view, so you have kind of more of like a like 120 degree of view. They can kind of see in from the sides, but they can't really. There's the stanchions kind of keep in where you're positioned, and all that kind of stuff plays a factor. So you kind of have to like think about that when you're designing sets. You could tell a lot of people didn't care about the back. They just basically made a front, right? And the mocks are very front facing, and that, for a show perspective, it makes a lot of sense, tons of sense. In fact, I was talking to somebody, Nico. He builds just amazing castle landscapes. Probably some of the better. I mean, he's sneaky good. I mean, really, it's a shame that he's not on Instagram. Come on, Nico, get on Instagram. He where he was situated, people were supposed to be able to 360 see his builds, but the stanchions went all the way across, so nobody could go through, and it made it kind of difficult for people to see some of the detailing that he did on all sides of the work. So it was a little, not a big deal, but it's also kind of frustrating because you're trying to make the entire landscape like really, really good, and when people can't see the whole thing, it kind of like slight downer as a builder. But those are things you have to think about. Like, you may not get exactly the layout that you're looking for. It's got to be a really hard job for the logistics team to put it all together. So yeah. So anyways, another show. Here was my, hopefully a few people, were able to join the YouTube, join my Instagram. I've been posting, definitely a little bit more on Instagram. I do want to keep the videos rolling. Right now, my only goal is going to be, I'd love to showcase tons of stuff. I do have one haul that I need to kind of showcase. That'll be coming. I did make a quick trip to the Lego store. Lego store has been kind of disappointing lately. I did have somewhere. Oh, okay. And maybe I can do this. Let's see here. Oh, I went to a Bricks and Minifigures for the first time. Maybe I'll do that. I'll do a separate video with all the different hauls from the week of BrickWorld Chicago. I did 2 set drafts plus a minifigure draft, and what's interesting about the minifigure draft is there was some confusion, and I didn't really think of this to begin with. There were some folks that parted out every part of the minifigure. So in other words, if there was like, the pet animals, then there was 30 of those, or the helmet or the torso or whatever, and people wanted 30 of each of the parts, not the actual full minifigure. That's really not what I was there for, although I suppose I could have done that, but I didn't really want to mix and match the torsos and different things. It seemed a little weird to me. I don't know how it all panned out for certain individuals. Some of the parts were better than others, and it just kind of seemed like I don't want to get stuck with a bunch of parts that I didn't really want. Although I would like full CMF minifigures. So there were about 6 of us that didn't really want parts. We wanted full minifigures, and it wasn't explained that way. So half the table, so about like 20 some people did the parts draft, and then the other 6 of us, I believe, maybe it was more than 6 of us. Yeah, it was at least 6 of us. We did the minifigure draft, and that actually turned out really well. I ended up with 6 different minifigures, so I have 7 because of getting this one. Oh, and then I did get I found another one of these for pretty well priced, so I ended up snagging one of these. So I know I for sure have 8 individual. I only have 4 left. And frankly, I don't know. There's a couple of them that I'm not super high on, and maybe I'll avoid that one. I don't know. But they are all, if you build space at all, they're amazing parts to get. And again, that's where I go back and you see the merits of the parts draft. Like if there was a certain head that you really want, and you need like 20 of them, to buy 20 CMFs would be tough. But if you buy 6 CMFs, you do a parts draft and you get 20 or 30 of them, that makes a lot of sense to me. So there's all the different trade-offs as I find more parts that I need to put away. I feverishly came back both Tuesday and Wednesday night, and I built more than I've ever built in terms of mock building in my life. I was like hardcore working on it, really hard. I cut some corners here and there, so I'm not super happy about that. But they turned out really, really well. I'm super glad about, I finally finished it, got it out there, and now I can kind of learn from it and kind of, go back out again. Overall impressions of the experience, there were quite a few people in the community that didn't make it, although what's interesting is that, and I don't have my phone in front of me, is that they had way more badged in attendees. So that tells me that the LEGO community is really strong. So I think they had, I think normally they have between 1,600 and 1,700 badged employees, or those are the full pass. So those are people who could be there from Wednesday all the way through Sunday. They, as of like the opening ceremony, there were 1,800, but they had almost over 100 people can upgrade from a public pass to a full pass because they wanted all the cool stuff behind the scenes. So if you're coming to BrickWorld Chicago, even if you're local in Chicago and you really want full access behind the scenes, it's completely worth it getting the full pass. So, and if you can block the date out, get your pass as soon as they release the details and registration for it. So the theme is going to be braving the elements. So whatever that means, I mean, maybe that means that maybe I should create like a earth, wind, and fire, like, some different types of element type builds. That could be kind of fun as you could do Star Wars. You could do some other, maybe I could do some castle. I do have the Winter Warrior. He's it's a pretty awesome figure. So maybe I could create some castle with kind of the snow and ice kind of theme or something like that. Whatever I do, I want to make sure that it's really small and not this massive thing. So but yeah, that's the theme for next year. The overall, I think they raised just shy of $36,000 for charity, which is pretty amazing. There's so much going on. At BrickWorld Chicago, they have challenges. There's different build events. They have the awards for the all the mocks. There's like, I don't know, it felt like 20 or 30 categories, for anywhere from trains to collabs to, I'm surprised there isn't like a top mosaic. I feel like that's a huge up and coming category. It feels like one that they should really think about doing. It's such a big deal. I feel like that's just such a growing, emerging category. Oh, they did have a category for really kind of the cosplay, like three-dimensional, like it's because somebody built a Lego dress. These wearables is kind of like a new thing. That's kind of a big deal, and so now there's been a lot of like noise about just kind of like really the art form of Lego really coming to life. So pretty amazing stuff. Then, of course, my first time last year, I was not able to make Saturday night, and I also didn't attend the closing ceremony because it was Father's Day weekend. It was kind of tough, and so I was hardcore attending like Wednesday, Thursday, and it is hard. It's hard to commit 5 days of just going nonstop. It's so crazy when you're local, right? And it's like your family's like, "Oh, you're back! Congratulations!" But probably the highlight of the entire show to me, I feel like, was the World of Lights when they turned the lights off, and so from 10 to midnight, you get to basically go run around and see all the cool things. I mean, you think about it, people pay to like in their cars to go to like, the holiday lights, you drive around in your car. It's a lot like that, right? Because people have their mocks and they're all lit up, and you could take a picture of a mock, during the day, and you take a picture at the mock at night, and it's like completely different experience. So it's really cool. It's unlike anything you'd ever really see from a Lego perspective. It's downright amazing. So with that, I'm going to close shop. I have so much sorting to do. This will be somewhat easy to start putting away, but I have a lot of sorting. I probably should have bought myself one of the bricks sorters so I could just throw in the brick and it separates the small brick from the medium brick to the large brick. Although, I was really thinking about that, and I just don't see, if you have a lot of bulk Lego, it makes sense to have a separator. But honestly, the issue is not getting the big stuff out of the small stuff, because I would almost have to remix it. I don't know. at the end of the day, the one thing I do know is that I just need a lot more like actual brick storage, because I'm just like, my brick is starting to burst from the seams, especially if you go to the pab wall and you'd say you get all of one type. Even if, like, if you see I got a lot of coral, I grabbed as much as I could. I didn't want to grab too much, but I should just grab a ton of it, right? Because sometimes when you grab a ton of something, that's how you can kind of create some really neat stuff when you have a lot of one particular part. I feel like that's where the magic really kind of comes in for certain marks. But I just have a tons and tons of parts too. They're all over the place. It's a hot mess, but I'm back. BrickWorld Chicago 2024 was just an amazing success. Super cool running into so many people that I have. There's a lot of people from last year, and some new friends that I ran into or experienced a lot of the parts drafts and different things. I did Bricks Against Humanity, which was kind of a fun little game. It was a nice play on Cards Against Humanity. Just a great time getting to know so many people. And of course, I always love talking Star Wars. Really love talking Lego. So with that, I'm going to close this episode, roll the music on this and we hope to catch, or I hope to catch you. Boy, I'm losing it. I'm really tired. I hope to catch you on the next episode of Journal Entry. Bye for now.